Ja, hallå igen. Jag är tillbaka med The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles här, där jag ska starta ett nytt kapitel av det här spelet. Senast jag körde så blev jag då klar med det här tutorial-uppdraget som tog många timmar, där vi satt fast i den här byggnaden, kortrummet. Men nu förväntar jag väl mig att äventyret ska fortsätta här och att vi ska ut någonstans. Och undrar om vi ska åka med till London med vår mentor. Om jag ska då... Det var ju lite grejer kanske i förra som man bör komma ihåg. För den här britten, hon blev ju inte dömd, eller hon bestraffad, eller vad man ska säga, eftersom att hennes privilegierade position, eftersom att de ville fjäska för det brittiska imperiumet. Så det är väl någonting som kommer fortsätta i det här spelet, antar jag, att hon kommer komma tillbaka på något sätt, och vi kommer få reda på varför hon egentligen mördade den här mannen som blev mördad här. Men som sagt, det som kommer nu är ju att vår mentor och vän, vad han nu hette, ska åka till London, och på något sätt så känner jag att vår karaktär också kommer att hamna där. Jag vet inte om vi följer med honom eller om vi ersätter honom på något sätt. Men det är väl vad min gissning blir. Så jag skulle bara continue nu. Se vad som händer. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Okay.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which she referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Sherlock Holmes är ju involverad i det här spelet på något sätt, eller Sholmes som de kallade honom här. Vad fan stod det där? Oj. En animerad sekvens.
Let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This
Det
is
där är ju
murder,
hon
and it can be locked from inside.
som var med tidigare.
Yes, the locked room, but that mystery is paper thin.
Så hur är vi
You don't
inplagda?
mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you? And where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock Sholmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
You must have heard of me.
Så han ska komma hit. Oh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Så vem är det som pratar? Är det Rinosuke? Eller är det någon annan? Wait! I can't move! Ah! What the? Why am I in handcuffs? So you wake up now, huh? We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You! Ha! You found me then. Duh! We found you and now you pay. Criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Ah, sorry. Now you have been found, it is time that you admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, no! I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Jag har inte riktigt bestämt mig vad hon skulle låta som. Vi fick ju en väldigt brief introduktion av henne. Hon pratade ju där i Cinematic, men jag kommer inte ihåg hur hennes röst lät där. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Nej, just joking. Svårt. Kan inte vara, det får inte vara för goofy, för det här kommer säkert vara en huvudkaraktär. Ja, jag får komma på under spelets gång. Mr. Sato! Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kasuma? Uh-oh. Ha! You pretend you don't know. You are a wolf in the sheep's belt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kasuma somebody was discovered not long ago. Uh-oh. Here in this very cabin that was built set from the inside. His body. Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kasuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs, surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kasuma-sama's life? Answer me, please! No. No! Kasuma, it was just 2 short weeks ago. Jag undrar om man verkligen är död eller om de försöker lura oss här. Are you sure about this? Why won't we get in trouble?
Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study?
It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die.
Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look.
Hey! Honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body.
Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you.
I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be forgiving of a stowaway.
They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. Oh, oops.
What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady?
From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean?
From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away.
No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this.
I suppose so.
Anyway, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'd be a breeze.
Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it.
Stop worrying. I'll tell you what. Why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper?
What?
Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside.
I don't know. We've only been at the sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together.
We'll leave you at the next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Vi kan ju fan använda det. Murderer.
No, I'm not a murderer.
Duh, you said that before. You said you admit everything about your crimes.
No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on this ship, but, murdering my best friend?
No one else could have done it. Admit the truth.
Susaru-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you too. Ah, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened.
Kazumas death. Ja, hans kropp är ju inte här i alla fall.
He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they think I did it. They think I'm Kazuma's killer. When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean?
There is no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside.
There is no via a porthole. Porthole.
In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped from these four walls. What? Or to put it in another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation?
This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly?
Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances?
Please, Asuda-san, you have to tell me.
The cause of death is still undetermined.
They don't know how he died.
The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call.
So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then.
That's true, yes.
Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma?
Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone.
Please.
Whatever you say, you were there in the cabin after all.
Well, yes, I was, but
He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside the cabin. I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't.
Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder?
I knocked, but there was no reply. When I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and then when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-san collapsed on the floor.
And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow.
I wish it was the case, but that's just very hard to believe.
This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me.
Now I've told you everything I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question.
Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything.
Stowaway.
Why are you even on board this ship, Naruda-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you?
Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's been 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time.
I had no idea. But how could you have occupied the Kazuma-san's cabin for so long without him noticing?
No, that would have been impossible, obviously.
Yes, of course.
Kazuma invited me.
He wanted us to get to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kasuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you?
It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I, that you ought to become a lawyer yourself.
Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were being serious.
You have a talent for it, I can assure you that.
But I never really thought about becoming a lawyer.
Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there?
Well, no, definitely not.
But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then...
Then what?
Nothing. Forget it.
Ja, jag har ännu ett mysterium där. Han vill att Rynosuke ska bli advokat for some reason. Någonting är connected. Någonting kommer att hända, I guess.
Kasuma-san he is always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes, then. It was darker than I've ever seen before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on this ship, I mean. If I know Kasuma-san, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes! Word perfect, in fact.
Jag är fortfarande confused när det kommer till att göra hennes röst alltså. Men det är jobbigt, svårt också. Ja, vi får se hur det utvecklar sig.
If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kasuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kasuma-sama was killed. Well, yes.
Sleeping pills. Sömnmedel i maten. Så måste det vara.
I know it sounds unbelievable, really, I do. But it's the truth.
Frågan är om det var Kasuma eller om det var någon annan som preparerade maten som hade sömnmedel i det.
If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason,
My head's still throbbing like anything.
Really?
Is something wrong?
No, it's, please forget it.
Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it.
I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who would possibly have done this.
Kasuma, I don't understand. Why did this have to happen? I can't take this.
Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen.
I'm sorry, but Kasuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free. No, I can't allow that to happen.
Well, what do you propose to do then?
I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kasuma's life and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me.
Hiya! Hiya!
What the?
That was a Susato takedown!
Hey, Susato, what? What martial arts form is that?
I'm going to need you to prove it.
Sorry, prove it?
Yes, your innocence. I need evidence.
But how am I supposed to?
Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a week ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law.
I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. This is the paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember really working hard to make it. But I'll never forget how Kasuma reacted. You expect the Russian crew to be able to read that, he said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it. So we used it anyway. And it worked. So I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors.
Ska bara presentera den här.
Yes!
Alright then, how about this?
You can't tick me with something irrelevant like that.
Oh, I'd better yet try to come up with something more convincing. Otherwise, I get the feeling she'll throw me in on the floor all over again.
The way you are looking at me, I think perhaps I didn't throw you hard enough.
No, it was definitely hard enough. Let me show you something else here. Here. I'll show her some
Okay.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in this wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors?
Oh, yes it was. I remember it clearly.
I thought so. Kasuma always put it in a place whenever I went to sleep in there.
just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well.
Ah! Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe door before he opened them.
But if I was truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this one on the outside of the doors on my own.
Yes, that's quite true.
In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma.
Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-san thought so highly of you.
Thank you, Susaru-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up?
Well, in the light of the evidence, I don't see a reason why I should stop you from investigating in here, at least.
Thank you. So you finally believe me.
I'm sorry. No.
What?
I am not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position.
What does she think I am, a magician?
Vad jobbigt det är att gå mellan deras två röster och så. Måste ha någon mer.
For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same.
Alright, let's get to work, Susuda-san.
Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts.
Oh.
I shall be watching you to make sure you don't do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example.
Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death.
Okej. Converse. Jag har gått igenom allting. Alla konversationshåll här. Move. Present. Examine.
I am in hunt and under house arrest by the crew, not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say that I'm stuck in this cabin, for the time being at least. I should focus on investigating in here to see what I can find out.
Okej. Så vi ska kolla runt här och se om vi kan hitta något bevis. Börja med den här då.
Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me?
What?
I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean.
Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see.
Sorry?
The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke.
He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty.
He might have useful information though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
Niet, of course not. Now back to the corner of your room and make silent. I say no more to you.
Did it hit the nerve? Just for a moment there, he seemed a little bit flustered.
Oh dear, that won't do.
Oh, well, what's the matter, Susan?
Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly.
Ah, yes, that's not good.
I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhoda-san? I'm sure you can be careful to look around using B and M, aren't you? Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin.
Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now.
Well... Jag går väl på det uppenbara då. Kolla på tejpen här.
Did Kazuma-san write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink.
He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote his message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-san. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it.
I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing.
I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhoda-san.
What? Then what language is it?
It pains me to admit it, but I don't know.
It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder?
Kolla på den här. Oj.
That's a very large traveling case, isn't it?
Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me.
Memories? What do you mean?
Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought aboard inside that case.
Ah, yes. I see it says this way up in Japanese.
Which, in hindsight, I should have realized a foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here.
Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds.
Well, it was... well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown.
This is where dear Kazuma-san would have sat whenever he was writing.
London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination.
It looks like though the last entry is incomplete.
Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue.
Hi! That's out of the question.
What?
Kazuma-san may have been departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts.
But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it.
Poor Kazuma-sama.
I don't like to pry into people's personal matters either, but in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look! They've all toppled the same way.
And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea, although he's fallen over as well.
Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once.
I wonder if... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training. Do you think?
I seriously doubt that.
Then perhaps... it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage.
I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder?
Well, I just set everything to straight again. I don't like to see a mess. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san?
I think living isn't quite the right description.
Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout.
The trouble was I never knew when a member of the crew might have come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception.
But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin.
No, sadly not.
Någonting mer här. Här då, skylten.
These are the rules of passage for traveling aboard the SS Burya.
It's essentially a list of requests from captains to all passengers on board.
Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me?
Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide.
Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here.
Ja, han hade ju med sig ett svärd, eller någon hade med sig ett svärd.
That's Kusamo-san's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it.
Yes, he was always saying that. A Japanese man's katana is his soul.
I believe he had hard work to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip.
I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit off just yet. That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty.
Yes, it was very delicious. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat in the floor here?
I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor.
But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he?
No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me.
Oh no! Does that mean? poor Kazuma-san spent his last night on Earth with an empty belly. It's just too horrible.
Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach.
Står det här då?
Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma.
Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully?
Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to,
Even though you stowed away on this ship.
Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win.
Här har vi någonting också.
There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and the cutlery are all over the floors for some reason.
Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute.
What is it?
That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all.
So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama.
No!
Ja, han blev definitivt drogad.
When I went in for help and the crewmen forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed.
It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or get out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a... The culprit used a needle and a thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this.
Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself, but the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid.
When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine.
Är det något... här har vi något skumt här.
What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever this thing is, it appears to have been broken clean in two.
The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit.
I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he?
And the mark beside that, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue.
Yes, you're right. It's the color of a brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in this cabin.
Okej. Verkar inte vara någonting mer här? Tillbaka hit då. Om det är någonting jag missat här. Ja, där har vi en lucka eller ventil eller någonting i taket. Så.
This is... Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think.
What do you mean, contraption?
I read about it in a book I was studying that talked all about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants.
Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try?
Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people.
No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all.
Okej, här har vi stor grej.
I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which air can circulate into the cabin.
Isn't that a little odd?
What do you mean?
Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must be connected to the next door cabin.
Yes, it would appear to. You're right.
But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside.
That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that.
I suppose. Maybe that's it. Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European.
Oh, how did he...
You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in there, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall.
Naruto-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is?
Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell.
Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him.
Am I just imagining it? Or does Sasuda-san look almost uncontrollable, excited?
By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press space on people when they're in their crosshairs, you can converse with them.
Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself.
Oh, please do.